my wife basically begged me to stop after a month. She's just like, Sam, there's only so much a girl can take. Just stop it. What's up, everybody? My name is Sam Itzhaki. I'm also known as Mr. Get Bigger Now. I am the CEO of the Dr. Jill Kaplan Company, and I have helped over 100,000 men maximize performance in the bedroom. I have a special guest here, Seth Kardos. He has a fitness channel. You can find him at SK Fitness on YouTube or at Seth Kardos Fit on Instagram. Seth's channel is where I go when I want to learn about fitness, when I want an honest take on a supplement or a piece of gear. I love his content. It's kind of like no hype, no BS, a real way to review products. Also, Seth, you've inspired me to get shredded, if I'm being honest.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm here for. Definitely help you out.
Awesome. Okay, so first thing can go over is how you got into biohacking.
Yeah, so like I had mentioned to you previously, I've always been into fitness, into the gym. I grew up going to the gym pretty much every day. My dad was a physical therapist, so he'd let us into the gym to his clinic during the weekends, and it was just kind of a way of life. So I've always been in that type of lifestyle, and then I got into playing sports. I got more into bodybuilding and just lifting weights, more so general fitness. Although I do like to incorporate some athletic training in there as well. And once I started doing that, you kind of get down into the rabbit hole of supplementation and, listening to how bodybuilders can do all these things to manipulate different variables to look better, even if it's for a temporary period of time. And I think through that process, you really learn a lot as far as being able to just understand how to read and determine, your blood work and all these different supplements, how they can interact with your biology. I think really fascinating. So, as all things, it kind of leads to biohacking and, figuring out how you can take different nootropics and all kinds of things. So yeah, it's just something I just have an insatiable appetite for learning new things. It's just kind of like a hobby. Continue to do it.
A true biohacker. I feel the same way about things. I just love to try pretty much anything that is somewhat safe to enhance myself in any way, shape, or form. And I love trying new things. I guess I love learning too, which I noticed that about you too. You don't just like to try new things, but also you really get into it, right into the protocol. And when we spoke last, you actually asked me specifically about what is the best way to use a pump. I can see that you really care about the protocol and how to use things too.
I'm always have a podcast in my ear. And I think especially today, we just live in such an exciting time where information is spreading pretty fast. And there's a lot of good people out there, just different anti-aging experts, people that have been in the medical field for a really long time. And it's just a lot easier to what information is out there that's actually credible and what's not. I think we're just kind of in a renaissance right now. As far as just how rapidly things are moving and different things being discovered. And now scientists are even engineering different compounds. And it's just a really, really cool time to be alive. Like it's like I said, almost a renaissance of the biohacking era.
It really is. And also for us, it means so many things to try, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
So, I've checked your channels and I've seen all the kind of stuff that you've tried and reviewed. What made you want to try something like a penis pump?
So I had initially heard about it on the Mark Bell podcast, and I just, out of curiosity, I had never used one in the past, and I thought it would just be cool to try it out, to give it a shot. And I think they brought on some lady that recommended
there was our pumps. Yes.
Pump. Yeah. So that's what led me to you guys initially when I first started with the hand pump. Seeing those guys' experiences with it. What's his name? It's Seema, the black guy, and he was just saying how the gains, just even temporarily, visually, you definitely know that something's happening. You see the increased blood flow, you see the changes that happen, and your ability to increase the pressure, so that that you're making some kind of physical change, which is kind of cool. But yeah, that's how I initially came across it.
Nice. And I guess you got curious about it?
Yeah. So I never tried it in the past, and it just seems like one of those things that if you are going to experiment with it and make some gains, you want to do it, in a period of time where you have time to dedicate to it. And it's something that I think if you do put a certain amount of time into, you're kind of going to reap those benefits. Because at some point, the gains are going to diminish. You're not going to, it's almost like newbie gains in the gym, right? When you first start lifting, you're going to see pretty explosive, noticeable gains. And then it's almost like diminishing returns. So I think that with pumping, if you can kind of reap those initial gains in the short term, be it, 6 months to a year of dedicated use, you can kind of just, you don't have to be all crazy, stick to a really rigid routine in the future, but you can just kind of maintain as needed. So I thought that would be
after, yeah. Yeah. And I actually know people who, I mean, myself included, who've been pumping for a very long time, more of on a maintenance protocol. But I know people who are pumping for enlargement for a very long time, and they are huge.
Oh, yeah. How long?
I'm talking about like 10 years.
Really? Okay.
So they did the initial protocol and they never really stop, and it keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's definitely something that I'm not aware of any limits. I mean, I assume there is one. I also know people who kept on pumping and keep seeing results. So not a lot. Most people don't pump for 10 years straight with an enlargement protocol. It's very rare to find something like that. But I do know a couple of people who have been doing it, and they've been growing and growing.
Well, that's a good anecdote, kind of motivating to
definitely
know that something is possible. It's kind of like almost seeing somebody in the gym that's been working out for 10, 15 years. Yeah, you're not going to get there overnight, but I mean, it's just kind of simple habits. If you can make it a routine and a habit, then who knows, you might end up with some incredible results.
Right. It's good to know that it's possible to get, amazing results and possible to get shredded, right? If you just keep going.
Yeah, I think that's honestly the biggest thing with pumping. Because a lot of people just they don't really think it's realistic, or they don't think it actually works. So for me, seeing the guys on the Mark Bell project, I look up to those guys a lot because they're incredible shape and very, credible source. So having them have the results that they did, it's almost like the 4-minute mile concept, where it's like if somebody can achieve something, then it's possible. So now everybody starts breaking the 4-minute mile because they know that it's something that we can actually accomplish. But it's only until you understand that you can get progress in a certain area are you actually going to attempt it.
So here's the thing. So a lot of people don't really know what to expect when they just start with a penis pump. I've been going on podcasts, describing to people what feels like, what kind of results they can expect. I think it would be amazing if they hear it from you. What was it like the first time that you pumped? What was it like when you pumped for a while? What kind of results did you see?
Yeah. So, initially just using the 2 cylinders, of course, you notice the immediate effects and just the increased size. And it's pretty striking at first, kind of catches you off guard almost. You're like, is this really me? Like, is this really possible? More longer term after the continued use. Unfortunately, I didn't take measurements or anything, but just the fact that I had to move up with the cylinder. So like the smaller cylinder, I started out with a certain size, that was probably more than a year ago. And if I was to try to use that same one, I'd probably like bust the glass cylinder open. So yeah, definitely see gains. Like it's pretty noticeable. So yeah, unfortunately I didn't take any measurements or anything.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good visual. And that's something that we see every day. We have a lot of customers calling in after using the pump for like 3 or 4 months to get the next size up, right? So that's completely normal. And what's nice about our pumps is that you have those kind of sizing, right? You don't have to buy a brand new pump, like a whole set, right? You just buy the cylinder itself. So it kind of grows with you.
And I'm just curious, have any of your clients used any peptides along with the pumping? Because I know that a lot of peptides that deal with like endothelial growth and, supporting your vasculature, build up your capillaries and all those veins and everything. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Bigger Steve, but he has a protocol that he actually used with some growth hormone peptides and BBC 157, TD500. And it's a pretty extensive protocol, but he, in a pretty short period of time, combining that with pumping, saw some pretty incredible gains. So I don't know if you have any experience with your clients doing any of that?
I actually don't know. I imagine that at least one person of the 100,000 men, has been experiencing with peptides, but no, that's something I never asked anyone. Yeah, that's a great question. I'll definitely look into it. But I guess I know one. That would be you.
Yeah. So the BPC 157, it basically helps with healing injuries. So your body produces it in response to injuries. But one of the main functions that it does is supporting angiogenesis, which is the formation of new blood vessels. If you're recovering from a pumping session that's pretty intense, take BPC, it's going to multiply those benefits.
Just accelerate things, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because pumps definitely cause angiogenesis. It's definitely one of the many benefits you get when you use it long term. It sounds like there's definitely something there. Like it can accelerate things.
Maybe something to look into, but regardless, just doing the pumping itself, especially in combination with the red light, I think just really opens things up as far as just warming up those tissues and allowing them to become more pliable and just stretching everything out to accommodate more blood flow. Which
you tried our red light wrap, right? The accessory to the pump.
Yes, the red light wrap, which I'm a big fan of red light in general.
Me too.
I have a red light lamp right here next to me that I shine on me. Also, I use it sauna at the gym I go to. They have a red light panel. I really like it. It feels great. It's supposed to just stimulate energy production. And then, of course, if you're using it, really close to your body, it's kind of mimicking that effect of natural red light, sun, basically, where you're getting that vasodilation, increased nitric oxide, the blood flow. And you definitely, as men, you need that down there because we're not walking around like cavemen anymore with our junk exposed. So I think there's definitely something to that.
Yeah, definitely. So when I became the CEO of the Dr. Joel Kaplan company, I basically wanted to start Innovate. And one of the first thing I wanted to do was to add some sort of heat, right? And so I was thinking of a heating pad, which is not a bad idea. But once I became aware of the benefits of red light, it has the heat component, right? Because it basically shines red light in form of, it's an energy that gets absorbed and basically heats up the penis from the inside out. And that's besides all the other amazing benefits that you just mentioned, right? Vasodilation, increased nitric oxide production, things like that. It was such a no-brainer to add it to, the pumping routine. And I'm so happy that we did this. And yeah, can you actually describe what you feel or what the difference is pumping without versus with?
Yeah. So just to start out, you can tell the red light, you did a really good job on that. I don't know if you made it or whatever, decided on the format, but like you said, it really heats everything up and you can tell just the warmth that it brings. And I think that's a big component to it. It's not only are you getting the benefits of the red light, but especially as like a warm up to use with the larger cylinder. Yeah, it definitely increases blood flow, opens everything up. It just honestly feels pretty good.
And you see the difference when you pump with the red light. Basically, your penis fills up the cylinder much quicker. Have you noticed that?
That actually could be the case. I've been using it for a while now. It's almost hard to remember, but I know that in the past, when I would just use the cylinder by itself, it definitely wasn't as intense of a session, and didn't really feel the magnitude as much. So I think if anything, it only adds to the just whole setup, because if you're going to be doing it, it doesn't really take any extra time to wrap on red light, and it's just it's a great accessory. I don't know of any other company that has that. So
there isn't. It's great. Yeah, you might as well get extra benefits, right?
Yeah, it's really synergistic with the pumping. I can't think of a better time to use it. We might actually get some side benefits as well, just to help with your mitochondria, increase cellular energy and stuff. So, I mean, any exposure to your body, the skin on your, in those areas is really thin. So penetrate, get into your system. So
yeah, it definitely penetrates pretty deep. We actually, it's red light and infrared light. I'm not sure if you noticed, but some of the LEDs for some of those light bulbs seem like they're off. They're not really off. It's just infrared as opposed to red light. So it has both. And red light and infrared penetrates the tissue at a different depth. And so you really get, heat and all those amazing benefits. So a different degree of depth.
You can definitely tell that, again, it's really high quality, because I've used a lot of red lights in the past, and they don't seem as bright and as strong. Different, topical type things that you can put on your like different parts of your body, your knees, your back, and stuff. And as far as just the warmth and the intensity, you can definitely tell that it's pretty high powered.
Yeah, actually, I get that compliment from a lot of people. Everyone says that this one really works. You feel the heat. I'm a big fan of trying a lot of products before I design mine, and that's what I did with the red lights, and that's what I did with the pumps. Auto GRO, the last pump you tried, I've tried 39 pumps before I built that one. It was the same thing with the red light. I basically bought every red light I can find, and like you said, most of them you barely know they're on. So I made sure that the specs are perfect.
Yeah, I've actually used in the past. There's a company that sells this device that's basically a red light. It's like kind of shaped like a cup. Put it on your balls, and it's red light. It's supposed to help increase testosterone.
Yes.
The effects of sunbathing, basically. So you're kind of getting that same benefit.
Exactly. If you use the red light wrap, especially with the biggest cylinder, right? Because you get in the penis and the balls.
Saying red light right on the chest.
So I was thinking, can you tell me a little bit about, I guess, your different experience between using a water pump like the HydroMax versus Auto GRO, the latest pump you've tried from us?
The water pump, I just picked it up just to see what it was all about. Like I said, I just like experimenting with new and different products, and first got it in, you're excited, it seems, and you're ready to use it and everything. And yeah, it's a great concept. Use it in the shower. It doesn't take a whole lot of time. Just kind of throw it on there. But I think the biggest issue with me is that it would often, since you're in the shower, there's water running down your body, and it would often just lose suction. And then all the water would come out. The suction pressure would go away. Kind of have to restart it. I couldn't. That was honestly the biggest issue with it. I mean, it could be good for somebody to try out just to get their feet wet, pun intended. But I think just the customizability of the Auto GRO, along with the different accessories, in my opinion, if you're going to invest a certain amount of time into doing this, and you really want to maximize your results, and that's what everybody's trying to get the biggest ROI on their investment, then stacking all these different pathways that are synergistic. You get the red light wrap, the pump, the fact that you can increase the intensity to whatever level that you want, which you can't necessarily do with water pump. I think that's the biggest thing that allows you to just, on top of the fact that it's hands-free, it's just a lot more sustainable and something that you can actually stick to and just make it a part of your routine, because you just throw it on there with the hands-free Auto GRO pump and you can multitask. So I think that was the biggest thing with me initially with the hand pump. I kind of fell off because found it hard to dedicate time to doing it. You gotta have to have one hand on the pump to maintain the pressure, and then if it goes down, you have to kind of obviously hold it. Yeah, the Auto GRO is just a game changer because it's just a small little device, and then you have whatever cylinder you're using, and that's it. And then the red light if you want that. So it simplifies everything. Like I said, you're stacking multiple different things that make it really synergistic, so you're getting the best ROI or time investment.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of stacking, have you tried our extender?
I haven't tried that yet. No, you guys just sent it to me. I'm excited to give it a go.
Good. So extenders are great for length, especially ours. It really allows you to increase the length incrementally by very little variations, which is good. Kind of like Auto GRO. It doesn't have low, medium, high. It has 10 different levels. So level 1 or 2, you don't have to worry about anything, even as a beginner, right? It's the same idea. You can really increase it incrementally, which is great. And it's actually another tool that works synergistically with the pump and the red light. Since I know you love talking about protocols, you basically want to use the extender first to kind of elongate everything, and after use the pump to engorge it with blood. And the combination of those two things is, the results are mind-blowing. I'm super excited for you to try it, actually.
Okay, yeah. So use the extender first or the pump. How long is that? So
you use it in sessions of up to 30 minutes to 2 hours, depending on how tight. When you basically put the extender on, you secure the penis to the extender. And so if it's not tight at all, you can wear it for up to 2 hours at a time. If it does feel too tight, you definitely want to limit it at 30 minutes. And you'll know because your penis will get a little cold, right? The tip where you secure it. And so up to 30 minutes, you can do multiple sessions per day. And so you can easily wear it to, 4 or 5 hours per day. I've done this. You don't have to. You will see results with half an hour. You'll see results, with an hour. Again, it's not something you have to kind of pay attention to. You just put it on and do whatever you need to do. You can wear it under your pants. Before I became the CEO of the Dr. Joel Kaplan company, I was a software engineer. And as a software engineer, you sit down a lot and you program. And so I was just wearing an extender under my clothes for hours a day, every day, just in the office while I program, next to other people, and no one knows and no one cares, frankly. It's funny because my wife basically begged me to stop after a month. She's just like, Sam, there's only so much a girl can take. Just stop it. It
No,
works
that
amazing.
sounds great. Just the fact that you could kind of throw it on there. Yeah, I'm really excited to give that a shot.
So yeah, just know it's, you can do up to 30 minutes or 2 hours, whichever one feels comfortable per session. You can definitely do multiple sessions per day, and on days that you pump and gorge it after. Yeah, it works amazing together.
Now with the pump, you recommend doing that, a pumping session every other day. Is the extender something that you could do every day?
Yeah, you can definitely do every day. I would say so both with the pump and the extender, it really depends on the intensity. With the pump, the skin is just very sensitive. The skin around the penis is just very thin and very sensitive. And so it's very easy to create too much strain. And so it's definitely better to do it every other day if you go to higher pressure, like anything over 4 or 5. If you're going to use that kind of pressure, you definitely want to do it every other day. Kind of like when you go to the gym, you don't do the same muscle. You don't really work it really hard and then go the next day and do the same thing, right?
Right.
Yeah. So it's the same thing. You want to do it every other day. With the extender, I find that you can definitely do it every day. Get a feel for it. I was using it every day, and pretty much everyone I know, all of our customers, they just use it every day, and it works great.
As soon as I think there's nothing that you could add to this setup, there's something additional to throw in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I actually know a lot of people who gained half an inch in the first month of using it. So just to give you a ballpark figure of what you can expect by using it daily. Be consistent about, make sure you give it as much time as you can. Every person is different, and that's fine. At the very least, wear it for half an hour a day. But if you can do anywhere between 2 to 4 hours total, not per session, just total time per day, you will see amazing results.
What's the name of that product? Is it just extender, or is there a certain name?
It's called AndroDEEP.
AndroDEEP. Okay, that's what that is. Okay, so I did receive that. I haven't used it yet, but super excited now.
Combination, the stacking was, I thought was also very important because, a lot of our customers know about each individual product. A lot of people know about each individual product, but they don't necessarily know about stacking and how synergetic things are. Seth, it's been a pleasure having you. I really enjoyed talking about pretty much everything: biohacking, pumps, extenders, red lights, stacking, and peptides. That was, I definitely learned something there, and I will follow up with you because I do want to know more about it. Before we end, is there anything you want to add? And why don't you tell people where they can find you?
Awesome. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. And best place to find me would most likely be just my Instagram, Seth Kardos Fit. And then, I'm on YouTube as well. The previous one got removed, but we're slowly building that new one up, which I do believe is SK Fitness. So that's where I just post like fitness reviews on different products and so forth. But if you have any questions on peptides, fitness, or anything, Instagram DM is a great place to, follow my daily workouts, and, also send me a DM. I'll be glad to get back to you guys.
Awesome. It's a pleasure to have you here, Seth.
Appreciate it. Yeah, you as well.